When was the last time you were anxious? I bet it was within the past week at least. Maybe it might have been in the last hour. Your anxiousness and your anxiety is a choice that you are making, whether it's conscious or not. Being in a state of anxiety is a choice that you make. When you start to allow yourself to have your subconscious or conscious thoughts impact the way your heart rate and breathing goes, you start to get anxiety. Anxiety is a low state of consciousness, a low state of energy, and it feels like shit. I hate anxiety. No one likes it. But a lot of people take prescription medication, or they smoke a lot of weed, or they take something that helps them cope with it. That's also a choice. And for a lot of people, that's a fair choice. I got anxiety today when I pulled up some results from work. Wasn't anything crazy, and my heart rate just spiked because it wasn't what I truly desired for my results. Now, instead of wallowing and sitting in that anxiety, what I did instead was I sat down on the floor and I started to breathe. I breathed in for 4 seconds, I held for 2, and then I released for 4 seconds. And when I released, I did 2 things. I imagined all of the anxiety that I had felt in my chest, that's where my anxiety manifests, build up to my throat, and I imagined myself releasing it. And I felt the heat and the pressure leave my mouth. That was one. The second thing that I did was I said release in my head. I did that for 5 minutes maybe, and sometimes it only takes 60 seconds. I just close my eyes, I breathe it into my throat, and I release it and I say release. And then I consciously choose how I want to show up after that. I choose what's my energy, what's my state of being, what's the emotion, and what do I want to show up. This is something that you can do, and I highly encourage it if you're experiencing anxiety on a daily, weekly basis. Because ultimately, there are mechanisms and there are tools like the one I just showed you that can help you get past it. I remember so vividly, I was about to go on a date with my fiance Taylor, and we pulled up to the restaurant. For no reason, I got anxious. And how many of us in that state of anxiety would have gone into that restaurant and let that beautiful experience of a date with someone that I love become a date where we weren't even present because we're so caught up in how fast our heart rate is beating? A lot of people. I sat in that car, and I remember I did that process. I imagined that every time I breathed, I felt a little lighter. What ended up happening was we had an amazing dinner, we had an amazing evening, we had a lot of fun that night, but it wouldn't have been able to happen if I didn't release that energy, that shitty anxiety. You have the same choice every day too. We can partner and talk about this because anxiety sucks, and I've been there and I've lived through that, and I have a tool that I can help teach you if you are struggling with it. Connect with me, direct message me, and let's talk about your anxiety, because enough is enough. I know what it's like to have anxiety, and it freaking sucks. But I also know it feels really freaking empowering when you could walk into your next stage of your day feeling clear, concise, happy, and empowered because you just released something that didn't serve you. Thanks.